And we're live. All right.
Hi.
Hello, world.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully, there's a number of you that stuck around from TVGP. I've been hurriedly moving houses in between, so I'm a little out of breath. I apologize. Had like half an hour of moving bookshelves and couches. Okay. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Looking that way.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going round the room, we got Musim.
Hello.
And we have Mina.
Hi.
So if you're not watching the live stream, my fiance and I are moving houses right now as we speak. So if this episode is a little bit short or I'm out of breath, that is the reason. So without further ado, let's get started with Musim. What have you been playing?
Okay. Well, for starters, I started playing the TVGP Game Club game, The Witcher.
The Witcher.
I've owned this game for a decade, and every time I started it, I'm like, is this a Diablo clone without magic that's based around potions? I don't want to play this.
Yeah, what is this thing?
But Witcher 3 looks so good that I decided I really should play these copies of Witcher 1 and 2 that I have for some reason. Anyway, man, this game is like, it's old, but aspects of it feel new enough that I keep holding things against it that I probably shouldn't. I think the thing that hurts the game most is no fast travel, because a lot of the times, like the kind of the rhythm of the game is, here's a huge area, here's kind of a dungeonish area. Go around, talk to people. You have a mystery to solve, and like you can get the mystery wrong is the really cool part in the game. That's the detective work in the game is my absolute favorite, and that's kind of what's kept me playing it through chapter 2. I got to chapter 3 a few days ago and just took a break because chapter 3 looked huge and chapter 2 was so freaking long.
Yeah, we talked about that on TVGP, and the Hannah was just saying, like, I got through chapter 2 and that was too long.
Yeah. Well, and it sucks. Like, it's nice in that you can order your missions by like, okay, this is a main mission, this is a side mission, but a lot of the side missions give you details about your main mission. Like, I almost wound up accusing this alchemist of being a freaking member of Salamander, and Salamander's the big bad group that you're hunting down. And I think I actually had processed the thing where someone had said, oh yeah, no, this guy's the villain, you have to go do this. And then I just happened to figure out how to get in the graveyard and found this other dude's corpse in a crypt. I'm like, okay.
Wait a minute.
Now we can do this. I probably should do full disclosure, though. The first battle against the beast is absolute words I can't use on this podcast.
Sheer terror.
It is, I mean, it just makes you want to tell someone to shut the front door, you know. So failed delivery, whatever. But like I was in like kind of I heard Hannah talking about this again, but I'm going to reiterate because I had the exact same experience where, okay, I have this witch I'm trying to defend against crazy town people and the beast, and she keeps dying in battle, and I keep quitting the battle and then restarting the battle to try and beat it.
Yeah.
And the beast is freaking ridiculous to begin with, just as far as the fight goes. The game had given you precedent to kind of believe that an NPC could die during battle because there are guards all around the place that constantly get killed by monsters. And Abigail, the witch, I think had an opportunity or two to die already, not in battle, but other ways. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, to hear Hannah say that he finished the battle and she just got back up, oh gosh.
So much rage.
Yeah. Stupid old games. I like the combat system is almost fun.
But not quite.
Like, yeah, it's gosh, it's so weird. It is so weird because like it has a skill tree, and the skill tree is mostly boosts and immunities and extra powers you get when you're drunk. But you never want to be drunk because your walk, like your combat walk, is fine and has a good speed to it when you're drunk. But when you just regularly walk, it takes you 20 minutes to walk like 10 feet.
Jeez.
It is so frustrating. And I don't know why anyone would ever want to be drunk in that game. And a lot of the status effects are like that. You have a blizzard potion that makes you faster than everyone, so it gives kind of the illusion of everyone slowing down. But it lasts for freaking ever, so you'll beat the battle and be trying to walk somewhere, and it's still going on, and you're like, can't I just take something to turn this off?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like The Witcher. I like a lot of the vibe of the world. I like how everyone is horrible in that game. I like how all the decisions, you aren't deciding anything morally good, gray, or wrong. You're just making a decision for the situation, and everything is going to go wrong anyway. Or at least that's the feel I get for it. But again, the detective stuff is it's way fun, even if it results in some awkward dialogue trees, because at the end of every suspect that you have in your detective book, you get to walk up to them and tell them either why they're guilty or why they're innocent. And if you don't do that, then you don't get the rest of the information. So it's this big awkward thing of which you're going up to like the captain of the guards going, I've determined you're not Salamandra, and here's why. And then the guard's like, well, good. I like you better now.
Good, I guess.
And it's... I don't know.
Do you think you're going to try The Witcher 2? As I've heard that
Yes.
that's kind of leaps and bounds over the first one.
I've had friends describe The Witcher 2 as the first next-gen game.
Interesting.
So I am going to go into The Witcher 2, probably not right after The Witcher 1.
Take
but
a breather.
The Witcher, like The Witcher 3 looks so freaking awesome to me in those trailers. Like all they had to say was, we wanted to do like a Witcher kind of in Skyrim. And I'm like,
Sold.
The moment they showed him on that boat with that freaking creepy mermaid, I'm in. Even if it's kind of it's definitely a game made for dudes, in a way. Or at least people who like lady parts. We can go with that.
That's true.
But anyway, I also played, very briefly, I'll talk about my Warframe for the month.
Warframe update.
I almost took a whole month off until like 2 weeks ago. I just got really burnt out on it. They released the Melee 2.0 patch, which I like. I don't think it's going to... Like, if you don't like the game already, it's not going to change your mind.
Yeah, it's not the Reaper of Souls of Warframe.
Yeah. But it... Basically, what you do is you hold your swap weapon down, and then you get your main melee weapon primarily equipped. This enables you to do more damage. Like, I use mouse and keyboard, so I hold down a button while I'm... Like, whenever you melee, you stock up energy, and then you can press a button while you're attacking, and you'll release that energy. And most of the time, disintegrate whoever you're fighting, which is really good against the big heavy units that melee normally would be a horrible option against. The kind of the way they made up for closing the gap of distance, Warframe's always been very kind of parkour based. There's a lot of wall running. Like the wall running's very reminiscent of Titanfall's wall running, except that when you jump off the wall, instead of just kind of almost immediately being on the ground, you launch yourself like across half the map. Which is, when you first encounter it, it doesn't seem controllable, but believe me, it is. But the way they've helped the distance with the melee weapon is when you go onto a slide, like slides already speed you up. On top of that, once you do that, if you hit your melee weapon again, you'll do this huge lunge forward that will just completely close almost any gap between you and an enemy.
Wow.
And it's fun, but it wasn't enough to make me not burned out on it. But what did make me start playing it more again was they redid the rescue missions. Previously, these missions were you go in, you go to the point on the map, you unlock a door, a prisoner gets out, and then he follows you to the exit. Now they've revamped it in such a way that each section of the map has like a group of kind of guards in it and an alarm. If a guard sets off the alarm, then they know you're coming, and they're going to start to try and execute the prisoner.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, you can kill everyone. Like, it's not like one guard sees you and they've set off the alarm. It's
Yeah,
not
just
like
game over immediately.
yeah. This is like you have a couple minutes to kind of make up for it, and even if they do get to the alarm, if you hack the alarm quick enough, then they think, oh, everything's cool now.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of forgiveness in it, so it doesn't become that super frustrating, as you said, game over stealth mission. On top of that, you're awarded. Oh wait, no, that was the event where you were awarded points. But when you get into the area with the guy, there are these special guys called wardens. There's usually 4 or 5 of them around in the area, and it kind of encourages you to take them all out stealthily. Because if the wardens realize you're there, they're going to press a button that's going to start a timer that will execute the prisoner. So it really, like, they threw this big event where you got to do it so many times, and they'll give you like a cool cosmetic scarf, and I can't remember what else they gave you, maybe a badge. But what it wound up being is I took my Loki warframe in there, which can turn invisible, and everyone was using all these stealth warframes, and it just was the most ninja feeling I've ever had in that game, because everyone was just stealth, quick take everyone out, unlock the door to the area with the wardens. Everyone stealth kills a warden. You can either go through the main entry to get to the holding cells, or you can go under it through a freaking grate.
Jeez.
Pop up in there. It is more fun than any escort mission should be. On top of that, once you get the prisoner out, you can now give them your secondary weapon for them to carry through the remainder of the mission.
Man, that kind of sounds like the way that it kind of sounds like the way you'd want that mission to go. You know, it's kind of cool enough, it's forgiving enough that it's not, you know, as soon as you're spotted, it's just game over and someone's screaming snake. You know, it's
exactly.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. I never thought I would like those missions as much as I did, and I hope they find ways to kind of revitalize the other mission types, because I've basically been everywhere in the game already right now. So whenever they introduce like a new element to grind for, and as far as like a new warframe or weapon, I don't really want to do it because I'm just replaying a bunch of stuff I've done a million times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like starting a new character in an MMO where you're like, oh, I'm doing like 2 damage to this squirrel, and my other character, I'm doing 5 million when I crit. And it's just sort of like, how long until I get to the cool stuff? Exactly.
And I mostly have faith that they're going to do more and more stuff like this. It's a matter of when. It's a matter of, and honestly, it's kind of been good to tone down on it anyway, because I do play the game a lot. But whenever I work overtime, I always just look for something easy to play that I'm already familiar with, and that's easy enough.
That's Warframe.
Yep. Let's see. Continuing on, here's one I don't think anyone probably saw coming after last podcast. 2 weeks ago, I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do this, and I bought a digital copy of Conception 2.
Oh, I bought a physical copy of Conception 2 for the Vita that Amazon was kind enough to smush the crap out of. But man. Yeah, how much have you played of that?
Well, I imported my demo save, which I had beaten, and it launched me into like a huge series of cutscenes. I can't imagine I'm too far in, but I feel like I'm at least, like, including the demo time, probably 5 or 6 hours in, but I've only, like, there's still 2 or 3 more ladies that need to show up. I have the second, what do they call them? Dust circles? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, they're dust something
You
circles.
made it way farther in this game than I did before I tapped out.
The dungeoning, I don't think gets... Like, I thought it had a lot of potential, and I think I was wrong.
That's one of the things that really bummed me out about it, was I don't really like the stuff in the city. I feel like it's often really aimless, where someone's like, did you talk to everyone, or do you need to go take a nap for a little bit? who knows? And it's like, well, I would like to keep playing this, but and they're like, maybe you should go back in a dungeon. I was like, I don't have I just have the training one. I don't know what to do, game, because you're not telling me what to do.
Oh, it's very like I actually wound up liking a lot of the not the overall story, but like a lot of the interactions with the
Individual.
different the
Yeah.
Yeah,
classmate
that stuff
dialogue
seems
stuff.
really strong.
It seems fun, it seems funny, it seems lighthearted. I think when I played the demo, I was going into it with way too serious of mindset. Um,
Yeah,
and going into it thinking, oh, this is going to be a hokey, over the top comedy that just is going to have some adult humor in it. I think that's the way to go. And it's definitely,
Yep.
again, another game for people who like lady parts.
yeah. I mean, I think the strength of the game is really a lot of it is really tongue in cheek. I mean, the stuff that they're doing in the game is, I mean, it doesn't really shy away from plenty of very heavy innuendo.
Yeah.
But it's never, at least in the early bits, it's never all the way serious about this is what we have to do. This is our destiny. Like it's none of that. It's just sort of like, hey man, this is all really weird. Hey, we're special, yay.
Yeah. It's, I don't, gosh, I really thought the dungeon system would turn out really cool. I really did. Like, it has
Yeah.
so many interesting aspects to it, but it's, the enemy variety is so small.
And the battle system's a little weird too, with positioning yourself on the four sides of an enemy, and I think the game is really did itself a disservice at the beginning by having just so many tutorials at the beginning and so many cutscenes. And it's just, there's so much about, hey, let's go make some Star Children, and here's all this other stuff, and here's everything in this town. And it's like all of this is really cool, but it's all so much at the beginning, and it's all so front loaded. And then when they finally kind of take the training wheels off, and it's like, well, I just don't know what to do now. I'm just completely lost.
Well, and I may be off here. I don't know if you played it any, Mina.
I have, but I'm actually a little farther than you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just
I,
at the second dust circle, and I took out, I think, one or two of the not main dust circle things.
Mini boss things.
Yeah, and I have at least two or three of the ladies into their level 2 relationship state. I don't know.
They're happy.
Like the smiley face has lines on it, and the classmating scene changes whenever they cross one of those lines. And I've crossed those lines on a couple of them now.
Oh,
So.
interesting.
But I'm not to the point where there's like a gift shop where I guess I could get them presents. Like, that doesn't exist in my game yet.
yeah, I've got
Um,
that unlocked. That's pretty. If you like lady parts, you can give them costume items,
Oh no.
little cat
wow.
ears and bat wings and glasses.
Heard there's a monocle.
I have not unlocked the monocle yet.
That would be the first thing I would purchase.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's just such a weird game. Like I appreciate that that Atlas sort of took a risk by releasing it here and localizing it, and I almost sort of wish that they would have said, "Hey, it's not Persona 4, even though it looks a lot like Persona 4. It's not as dungeon focused as the Persona games are. It's a lot more relationship focused."
I kind of feel like it's forcing me to do dungeons right now. I got to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
'Cause I'm at a point where most of the girls keep saying the exact same thing to me every time I visit them. I can't figure out, like, if I'm making a mistake by going to a dungeon for a bit, coming out, talking to the ladies, and then going back to a dungeon without going to the next kind of story item or conquering the next main dust circle or not. Like, I don't know if I'm hurting myself there, if it's going to be like Persona where there's actually days moving, or if the days are going to move dependent on when I take the dust circles out.
Yeah, the days are dependent on when you take out the dust circles, so you
Oh,
don't have
thank
to worry
goodness.
about yeah, yeah, you're not losing anything by advancing the story
No one's gonna
like
come in
that.
and say like, "Hey, now the midnight hour is forever. Thanks, jerk."
Yeah, like you oh, I slept 30 days and now I've missed
Yeah.
out on all this.
Is there any reason to like the secondary dust circles? Can you
Oh, those
go
oh,
back to them after you beat the primary one?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
you
because
can go back to
I kind of want to skip those and just move the story forward. Honestly.
That's what I've done. The only things you really get in there that I can recall are some of the quests that want you to defeat certain things. They're only in those secondary dusk circles or whatever
Oh,
they are.
that
Hmm,
makes sense.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a couple of the quests, but I'm down to the boss of the next dust circle, and I can't remember one of them. Oh yeah, I need to find hard leather. So sure, whatever that is.
Yeah, I'll find one of those somewhere.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily done with the game. I just need to find a way to minimize my dungeon time because, like, so far the advanced enemies are just different colored versions of the previous enemies,
Oh, it's just
and
palette swap stuff.
yeah, it's made the combat really boring.
Oh,
And it doesn't. And the other thing that doesn't help is I feel like I'm doing an inconsistent amount of damage. Like sometimes my main two characters will one shot them, and sometimes it'll take them plus all three groups of my star children to hit them to do them in.
hmm.
And it's
Do you have like star children that are all from the same lady or are they like multiple ladies?
I group them as star children from the same ladies, but my three groups so far are from three different ladies.
So if you happen to have like a full set of like everybody from the same mm, mother lady or whatever, you'll see your damage go up a lot more, especially if you stick to that group. The only thing is when they're created, you'll have a level cap on them unless they are, what are they called? Genius children, which will come with a level cap of 99. You'll know because it has a star uh, on their little faceplate. But so the first ones that you made are probably like a level cap of like 10 or 11. So, but they gain like some sort of like I don't know, some sort of hidden modifier that increases their damage and everything else on them the more they stick around with your mother. So it's it's not good to have like a wide variety of children from the different mothers. It's better to have one from a singular mother. I don't know if you have the tri-class mating. Do you have the tri-class mating yet?
No, I just heard that
Okay.
that existed a couple days ago. I'm like, wow, so they went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
game's
so
getting even weirder. Okay.
so when you unlock tri-class mating, then you can use the mother that you want to have all your children just basically be the children of, and then use the secondary mother to get the stats that you need to get the other jobs. Like
Oh,
there's one
Gotcha.
that has like the defense stuff or whatever. So let's say you're sticking with Narika like me. But she doesn't have very good stats in like a lot of different areas. You grab one of the other ones to boost whatever stat you need for a different class, and boom, there you go.
you know, I
Solves that
I do have
problem.
to give them credit. You know, I think as much as I don't like the game and I tapped out early, I do really like that there's a considerable amount of depth with all the creating the Star Children and all these stats and all the dungeons and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot to that game for the price.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I'll play more,
It's just a
but
weird game. Like all the
extremely.
innuendo aside, like it's just a weird game, and all that stuff is just extra weird on top of it.
It just feels like it has a lot of systems that aren't quite as ingrained in each other as they need to be.
I think that's
Like,
I think that's a good way of putting it. At least from a dude who only played like 2 hours of it.
well, for me, it feels like you have this city building kind of leveling up thing. You have your Star Children like crazy thing, and then I guess the Star Children and the mother thing does go into does work wording does go hand in hand well with each other, hand in hand, huh? Because it's
Yeah.
yeah, but
The city
it's
building aspect of it isn't actually that important to me, not at least not at what I've seen. The city building, what it really does is that for the cash shop thing, whatever that it has in there that you buy stuff for your ladies, that unlocks more of those accessories that you can get.
Oh,
So like yeah, like upgrading the city doesn't seem to do that much. It unlocks more quests and stuff, and maybe some items that I don't buy.
but
Like
it's
I
not
don't
that
need them.
critically
But
important.
yeah, no, no, no. So
Yeah.
like the only good thing about the whole city building thing is like when you get children who are basically worthless to you because their level cap is 11 and you're in a level 30 area.
Yeah.
At least when you get rid of those children, they are going somewhere and they go to help build the city.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
So the
interesting.
yeah, so
oh
those
nice.
and then you'll unlock something later called like a scavenge thing, and then those children that you've released back into the city to help build it.
Released into
Jesus.
the wild.
The wording of all of this is
Yeah, this
terrible.
game's wording is just, it's really tough to talk about.
Yeah.
So, the scavenging aspect of it is that those kids that you've had released back to the city to work, they will help scavenge stuff, and I don't know what the modifiers are on their scavenge. Like if you max their level out, or if they are of this class, they're more likely to find stuff. But it remembers everything of them. So if you release like 100 star children, it's gonna remember all 100, and it kind of randomizes which three you get to pick. And you just, if you wanted to like try to game the system to try and get your best children, you could go in and out of the menu, but yeah, no, I haven't unlocked everything in the city either, but it doesn't seem like to me that pursuing to build the city very quickly actually does anything
Yeah.
beneficial. I could be wrong.
God, there's so much
Okay.
stuff in that game. Jeez.
Yeah, and
Then
it
I'm
just
just not.
it unlocks more and more as you advance the story.
Wow.
And I'm just gonna go take out the next dust circle and skip
Do it.
half the enemies in the
Yeah,
dungeon.
just keep
I'm-
marching through it.
Do it.
Yeah, these side dungeons were killing me. And I'm like, just get me to the next part because
I think those
Several
side
of the-
dungeons are supposed to be like they're supposed to be like harder for you, just so that way that's like the hard content. Like, oh, I want to go and
Get some
like do
challenge.
more into the battle. Yeah. Whereas like the story dungeons, like, this is pretty. This is the story dungeon. That's the way I perceived it so
Yeah.
far.
Crazy.
Okay. Well, another thing, one last note about this. The numbers in this game are insane to me because they're like, this spell costs 190 mana points. I'm like,
And you're
oh
like,
my gosh, so I
is
can
that
only
all
cast
of
this
my
once.
mana?
Oh, wait, no, I have like 1,000, 2,000 mana. I
Yeah.
mean, or something obscene. Like, all the numbers are so absurdly high to me that it's hard for me to gauge anything.
I mean, it's probably based on the story, since all of you are like this special, highest level star people, whatever they call them.
Bunch of David Bowies.
Yeah, there's so much
He doesn't-
jargon at the
Yeah, he
beginning
did do
of
the
that
song
game.
Starman. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
what a crazy game, man. Just
Yeah.
just one of those games where you never you just look at it and you're like, yeah, that's never coming to the U.S. No one, even Xseed or Access isn't going to bring that over, and then someone does. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'll support them. Let's just bring out more crazy stuff.
Well, and maybe that other Persona clone looking game will be good too. That I think is due out
Mine
this month.
Zero.
What is it?
Mine Zero, I think.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
It looks exactly like a Persona game, like
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
every aspect of it.
I'm more than happy to try it out. Who's bringing that out? Xseed? Probably.
I don't
I'm mind blanking on that. I
Yeah.
remembered the
Go
name.
Google.
Yeah.
I feel good that I remembered at least the name.
Axis.
Axis.
Yeah.
There you go. It's one of the three
Yeah.
of them: Atlas, Axis, or Exceed.
Yeah, so maybe that'll be good, and maybe I won't feel bad for giving a complete obvious Persona ripoff.
Yeah.
Uh, but okay, I played a little bit more Dragon's Crown. Um, and now I have 3 pieces of whatever it is, maybe 4. My notes might
Oh,
be
all
wrong.
those jewel things,
Yeah, you got to get like 8 or 9 of them or something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of the side quests and leveling up and
Side quests are where it's really at because you get a lot of skill points, and
yeah,
the more skill points you get, the more you can break that game pretty quickly.
it's man, that game's so fun.
It's just a
It's so
blast
good.
to play.
It's it's weird to me though because as much as I adore and love the game, I can only play it for maybe an hour or 2 straight at the most. Um, Before I kind of want to do something else, just because my mind, like, it's almost entirely kind of instinctive, kind of gameplay, and so my mind's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I'll get kind of sleepy sometimes. But I accidentally played a multiplayer session. Um, I wasn't paying attention when I went into the stables. I was like, "Do you want to go online?" I'm like, "Sure,
Yeah,
whatever
it's
that
like
means."
sure, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care. Yes, yes, yes.
And next thing I know, I'm like, "These guys aren't acting like, oh gosh, I'm online. I hope I don't play stupidly."
Yeah.
And it was that level with the chest behind the bars where you got to press all the colors in a
Oh,
certain
jeez.
order to open it. And it's funny because we went in there and no one freaking remembered the combination, and I'm like,
It's such a weird combo. I never remember it.
yeah,
I just stopped
I
doing
don't.
it.
I just assumed everyone online would have that memorized and be talking smack about anyone who didn't immediately
Yeah.
know it.
You stepped on the wrong one.
Yeah. But, oh well. And last, uh, after the last podcast, I decided to promptly not take any of your advice and played Final Fantasy X and played more Blitzball with Keepa. And I've decided Mina was right. And I'm going to reload next time because I'm like 4 or 5 matches into the tournament and I've won like 1 Blitzball match
Oh man,
or something like
Keepa's my
that.
boy. He's a hidden gem. You just
He
gotta
is
play
a
like
hidden
30 games.
That's the thing. Like, Keepa is actually really amazing, but you have to like level him. Alternatively, pick some other people and then pick him up later when he's already leveled, and
Yeah.
then just get him while he's good.
How do you
he's
level?
just him in the AAA league is just he's
How
gonna
do
lose
you
you some
level
games.
him without
Uh,
losing?
lose basically.
Get him out of
Like,
the goalkeeper spot.
Yeah.
Like, he does not belong in there. Get him out. He's actually like one of the faster ones. I mean, he's really great when he's not in that goalkeeper spot.
I keep Keepa in the goalkeeper. I stick with him. I'm too stubborn.
like, well, is losing games bad?
No.
Like in Blitzball?
No.
It doesn't.
Uh,
The only thing you're penalized for is your time.
I suppose the only bad thing would be that if you keep losing and you never win, the other teams are going to get stronger and you're not going to get stronger, and then they're just going to be a harder force to beat.
That's true. I guess you could reset the whole league at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you're
then
not really losing anything.
You can reset the league?
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a really weird option. I think it says reset data.
it's
Something like that. Where you basically reset the league, and I think everyone goes down to level 2 or something like that. So if you
Does-
get in a spot where mistakes have been made, then you can kind of wipe the whole slate clean.
But you'd still have to. I mean, I'd still kind of be in the same boat where I'm not good at the game, though.
Yeah, but I think at that point, if you pick up other party members, then you'll be able to, like, the Ronsos won't be level 30, and then your new peeps are going to be like level 5. Oh no, I think you can
Oh,
kind of
gotcha.
reset everybody. I think you'll still have all of your party members for your team, and I think everyone's levels get reset, if I remember.
Is there a character that you start with that would make a better goalkeeper than Keepa?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
remember who though.
you mean like somebody you can pick up outside of your team, or do you mean
No, I'm
straight from the ARCS team?
straight from the Orcs team.
I don't think
You,
anybody's as naturally good as someone you can pick up right now. I think you can,
yeah.
if you look online, there's someone you can go talk to right now that is like sitting on a bench somewhere. You just,
Jamal or something? Jasu? I don't remember.
yeah,
He's
someone
like
like that.
he's in Luca, and right where the monument is, like this little spire thing, right around where Yuna gets kidnapped. There's a bench, and there should be a father and his daughter to the left, and they'll be sitting on that bench. And you talk to him, and he is probably one of the better goalkeepers until
Hmm.
you can find somebody
Wait.
else. But
Oh, you're talking about the place where they had the big game, right?
the blitzball, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I'm
place
already
right there.
past that area though, so
There's one by the moon flow. I'm trying to remember. There's a couple goalkeepers scattered about. Where are you?
I'm basically where I was last podcast because I played like 4 hours of blitzball and I just like
Do
I
you
get the
remember?
math. The part I don't get is how to traverse the map in a successful way. Like I missed like I put Titus in front of the goal and did his special kick and they still freaking caught it on this one match.
Were you up against Nimruk or whatever from the Albed Sykes?
I don't remember. Maybe
Nimrok
so.
is always going to catch your stuff.
He is insane with his catch. It is like that's the guy I always try to recruit because even if I don't use him, I just don't want him
Yeah, they
out
put him on the
there.
bench. So
Like
the
I'll
That's
bench him.
I think the
that's
hardest
a
part
funny
about
tactic.
I think the hardest part about Blitzball is the difficulty ramp at the beginning is so high that once you once you kind of blow past that difficulty curve, the all of the blitzball is just so easy. Like you hit a point where you're just like, man, nothing can stop me. I'm scoring like 7 goals a half. Like this is ridiculous. But there's that part at the beginning, and I'm at that point, and I'm using every single person that you start the game with. So I've never recruited anybody else. So it's totally possible if you're a crazy person like I am. But it's just you're at the kind of the horrible quagmire where it's like, well, I can't win anything, and the Sykes and the Ronsos are killing me. But you should still be. Are you learning? So here's the thing that the game is bad about: learning techniques of other players. Are you learning those?
I'm telling people to learn stuff, and occasionally they seem to,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really bad at remembering to press the button whenever it happens.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of this thing you have to beat into yourself, where when it says tech copy, you hit X at the right time.
yeah, I don't. I'll get back to the game. I need to get at another point in my life where I can play a handheld game
Yeah.
with a walkthrough. Like that's the trick. Is handheld games I really dislike using walkthroughs with. Like a computer game is a lot easier because I can just tab over or something like that.
You know, the suggestion, I don't even remember what we suggested for you last time.
Oh, I know.
I would recommend just waiting until you get the airship all the way at the end, and then just recruiting people then, because you'll be able to fast
Yeah.
travel at that point.
Okay.
And then you
Okay.
can just
And then
pick
Well,
up like an all-star team and just blow through that whole thing.
And if you really want to, I can give you like the team that you would grab that it would just make the game a lot easier to
Yeah.
start out and just learn to play blitzball.
Yeah.
I need to do that. That's all I need to do. I need to just wait on the blitzball, and then I need to download the list of all the alphabet locations so I don't miss them.
Yeah, you should do that right now.
There's only the missable ones are the ones you should care about. If you don't want to worry about the other ones, just
You can get
at
those
least
later.
worry about the missable ones. I think there's like
I've only
four.
found like 2 or 3 so far, so
That's okay, as long as you haven't. Have you been to home yet?
I don't think so.
I
don't know what home
It would
is.
be the game is very much like, this is home. Everybody, this is home. Don't forget that. So you go look up the list now and make sure you follow that list to the T, and don't leave. There's 4 missable all at one point. And it's sort of from the beginning of home until there's a sequence after you leave that place. There's one more sequence after that where there's a missable one. So,
Oh.
and most guys will say these are missable. Don't skip these.
Have you been to a desert?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so when you hit the desert, you're going to be hitting home very shortly.
Yep.
So if you hit the desert and you haven't looked up the guide, go look up that guide right then.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and that's all I did in FFX, and I have one more game. But if you guys wanted to talk about it too, feel
What do you got?
free.
Which game?
Awkward sec. Oh, okay. Well, my last game is I purchased Diablo 3 for PlayStation 3.
Oh,
Yes. Let's talk
I,
about this.
So, I have to make a confession here, because I was actually feeling pretty negative about the game after the beta and a brief play I had at a friend's house, because I really like Torchlight 2 and Borderlands 2 style skill trees.
Right.
And this did not have that at all. It completely changed what was in Diablo 2. Everyone just got the same skills, and it upset me a lot. And it might still a little, but something epic happened 2 weeks ago. After I recorded the carousel with Sam and Joey, they're like, we're going to go over to Sam's place and play Diablo 3. And I really wanted to hang out, so I'm like, screw it, I'll go too.
Yeah, why not? Misery loves company, right, guys?
We played. First off, I went over there. It took Joey a long time to get over there. They had already leveled their guys up to 18 or something. They were in chapter 2, and Sam just let me play for like 3 hours, and I chose the mage. And I don't know why it was different this time than last time, but all of a sudden everything made sense. I had all these strategies with the powers.
Yeah.
I was catching on to the environmental stuff. And then Joey showed up, and we got a 4-player going, and we played for like 8 hours straight.
Oh, wow.
And it was the most... I can't remember the last time I had that much fun playing couch co-op. And I went out and bought it the next day.
Yeah.
And me and Susie have been playing it off and on, and I wholeheartedly love Diablo again.
Oh, man. I'm so happy. And the great thing about the PlayStation 3 and 360 version is it contains about half of the stuff that showed up in Reaper of Souls. And I know you have a PS4, right?
Yes.
So the version that's coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, which would be great if they would have a release date, yay, sometime. That contains Diablo 3 plus Reaper of Souls plus all the patch stuff, and then some extra stuff for the console versions. So that's the version my fiance and I are going to wait on, and then I'm going to force her to play with me and just be like, you loved Borderlands 2, love this too.
Well, and Susie never plays games with me, and there's actually been a few evenings where she's like, we could play Diablo 3 if you want, and I'm like, really?
I was like,
screw whatever productive thing I'm doing.
I think the thing that I love about Diablo 3, and even more so with Reaper of Souls because of the bounties and the rifts and everything, is just that the co-op nature of it is so strong in there that there's... The thing that really turns me off in a lot of these games is when it turns into some sort of competition. And the great thing about Diablo 3 is it's purely co-op. You're not even fighting for the same loot because the other people don't see your loot. Like it's the perfect thing where it's just, we're gonna sit down and we're just gonna play the story and we're just gonna beat the crap out of some demons, and that's awesome.
Well, couch co-op, you do see the same loot, but
that's
it's
true.
okay,
Yeah, that's true.
You usually don't want the same stats, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a pretty strong team going, and one of the guys was a Diablo 3 veteran who was kind of advising, and by the end of it, like, Joey and Sam's characters were, I think we got them up to 20, and I was around 17 or 18.
Nice.
Mage, like, because I started like 3 or 4 levels behind them, or maybe even 5. Like, that is like the perfect stand back. You're a little bit lower level, but you can still do some damage.
Yeah,
class.
I just started a wizard in Reaper of Souls because I was sort of starting to get a little sick of loot grinding with my demon hunter, and playing that I was like, oh, I just have a laser that's made of ice. This is awesome.
Why would you ever go to any of the other powers? I have no reason to at this point.
And then I got this little like floating stardust pixie thing that shoots energy at other people, and I was like, this is so cool. Now I want to start another one.
You see, leveling up at the beginning level, what I would do is I'd see one of those big, large guys that would explode when you kill them.
Hmm.
I'd run up to those guys, use Frost Nova, freeze them in place, run back, shoot them with the ice beam, damage all the guys around them, and then do cleanup. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. A lot of surprising amount of strategy in such a simple game. But
Yeah.
and I don't.
And are you guys playing on the one of the lower difficulties?
I don't remember what game we co-opted on, but me and Susie are playing on either medium or normal. We're not doing hard.
Yeah,
So,
that's where the game for me really shines. Is once you finish it once and you start stepping into the higher and higher difficulties, and the elite and champion enemies get harder and harder. That for me is really where that game shines. It's the same reason why my fiance and I had a lot of fun in Borderlands 2, because we're like, okay, we finish it again. That was still pretty easy. Let's go into this next difficulty, and we're like, oh, this is tough again. All right, yay! So that's what I love about Diablo 3.
well, and I don't even have any regrets about getting the PlayStation 3 one, honestly, because
No, that's a good version.
right
Both
now
the
I'm
360 and PS3 versions are great.
and I know like it's looking like they're never gonna do Reaper Souls for it, which does suck a little bit, but
Yeah,
I paid $40 for this game and I've already gotten a ton of time out of it.
well, and I think the
Um,
rumor is that you'll be able to move your character from the PS3 to PS4 version, um,
that would be
which
nice.
stinks for me because I started on 360 and I'm gonna buy the next version on PS4. So, whoops.
Man, too bad they don't just. I feel like Blizzard and Gearbox and all them should just have a character cloud that
Yeah,
you can just
exactly.
download it to whatever platform you want. If they want, they could exclude PC. I could probably forgive them for that, even though I'm a PC Borderlands player.
I feel like the company
But
that's getting really close is BioWare with Dragon Age 3, where they came out really early and they're like, yeah, we know you played it on consoles and you want to move on to something else. So we're going to have a website that you can generate a character on. And it's like, well, that's okay. That's fine.
yeah. Anyway, so that's all I got.
Oh, man. All right, Mina, what about you?
So I played a lot of games, but I'm going to shorten it to only 3 games.
Okay.
Um, the first game that I played was Final Fantasy X, and I beat it!
Yes. Yay.
Yay! So I've never beaten 10 before, so it was hooray.
Yeah.
I still haven't
Did you
seen the
platinum?
ending though. Get to that.
Wait,
So
rewind.
I'm
Did you just say you
streaming.
didn't see the ending?
Nope. Because I'm streaming it and everybody's watching and we're all having this moment of yay, we're all happy. And we get to this real scene where something supposed to be really sad is about to happen. And just as the moment that something sad is about to happen, my game goes hard locks and that's
No.
it.
No.
So I was like, oh no! I was like, well, I still beat it. We kind of saw part of the ending. I'm pretty sure there's more beyond that. But we're just going to pretend this was happy ever after
Yeah.
and end it right here. Because, I mean, it's okay right now. Everything's still fine, kind of.
Yeah.
But so I ended the stream and I was like, you know what? I want to see the ending. Plus, I want to get the trophy for beating the game or whatever. And I booted back the game up, fought the final boss and stuff, and got to that scene where it's about to happen again and hard lock.
What the
No.
hell?
So I take a look at the disc and I think my disc is scratched. And I don't understand this is like a brand new disc. Like, it hasn't touched anything besides the inside of my
I was about to say, it
PS3.
probably
Like,
came out of the case and went
it's-
right into the PS3.
and it's not moved out of it.
Weird.
So
So time to find a red box that rents video games and switch them out.
yeah, so I'm thinking I will just transfer my save over to my Vita and beat the game there, because if it hard looks like that on my digital, I'm gonna be
Yeah, gonna write a
flipping
nasty email
tables.
to Square Enix.
I'll be like, no, I want to see that ending. I
Yeah.
want my trophy.
Yeah.
So that was Final Fantasy X. The other game that I played that I want to talk about is Dark Souls 2.
Ooh,
So, yeah, I got it for the PC. For the people who've watched me play Dark Souls 1 and how bad I am actually not bad at Dark Souls 2.
nice.
Like,
So you redeemed yourself.
kinda, yeah. See, like when I went to the Bell Gargoyle in Dark Souls 1 or whatever,
Hmm.
I probably died. Well, let's go with 40 times on that boss.
Yeah, but I've heard that's
And
kind of a rite of passage for that game
it,
anyway,
it,
though.
it is. But then you look at Dark Souls 2, every boss I've beaten either on the first or the second, I think sometimes the third try.
Oh,
There was
wow.
only one boss that even kind of gave me trouble, but I kind of figured it out, and then I just kind of beat him too. So I haven't felt really like the challenge that I felt when I was doing any boss in Dark Souls 1 is not really there when I'm playing Dark Souls 2. Like
Hmm.
I'm still struggling, still like having to put 110% into beating this boss, but um
But doesn't feel
it's
hopeless anymore?
it doesn't feel hopeless. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when I was doing the gargoyle and I'd just get so messed up. I would look and I'd be like, I have no strategy for how to beat this.
Yeah. I don't know what I need to do.
I don't know. I'm just gonna have to get lucky. That's all that's gonna have to happen. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't when I entered these bosses, I walk in and I'm like, oh, okay, so the boss does this, that, and that. Okay, I know how to beat it.
Yeah.
Just work that strategy and it's over. But so I'm having fun with Dark Souls 2. Everybody wanted me to talk about something that happened, but I can't remember what it was on there specifically. But um, I'm not. I don't think I'm far in the game. I've killed a lot of bosses, but they don't seem to be the bosses that are going to progress the story.
I've heard there's a
So
ton of bosses in that game, too.
I think that's yeah.
Yeah, like a
So
lot more than the previous two games.
yeah, because like I know that I need to kill. Like this isn't very much spoiling because you find out about this as soon as you walk into like the first zone. There's four bosses you need to beat in order to get to somewhere where I'm guessing the next leg of the game is supposed to take place.
Oh,
I I have only fought one of those four bosses, and I feel like I've been everywhere. And I'm like, what is going on here? Where are all these other bosses? I've killed like 20 bosses now, and only one of you guys counted.
weird.
So I don't know. I imagine maybe I'm just like I don't know. Maybe there's a boss hidden in a corner somewhere. Just like she'll never find me here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm having fun with that. I like Dark Souls too. I know some people are telling me that they think that Dark Souls 2 is more casual and they don't they don't really like it, and I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
I guess that makes me casual.
It it seems like the internet had a pretty positive reaction to it for the most part. Like most
Yeah.
of the criticisms I've heard about it have been just that the animations can't always be relied upon, or things like maybe not even that. It was something to do with kind of creature reactivity, like
Oh, yeah.
where in previous games.
They changed
Oh,
it
that
up,
was
it
right.
sounds like.
Yeah, I saw a strip on it once. I think it was on The Escapist, where they're like, in Dark Souls, like an evil knight comes out and says, "You're going to die," and then he's like, "Where did you go?" Because the main character sidestepped.
Yeah.
And then in Dark Souls 2, it's you sidestep and the boss completely follows you around and kills you. But
Yeah,
um,
it seems like the internet has been turning a little bit on that game in the last week or so, but I think that's just the internet is doing what the internet does. So,
I
yeah,
I have no idea. I just get some people who walk in there and they're like, it's worse than Dark Souls 1." I was like, who cares?
it's still
I'm
pretty
having
fun,
fun.
so who cares?
Like, don't ruin my fun.
You know,
honestly, I
don't-
heard the menus make more sense, and to me, that already makes it better than the other games.
Yay!
well, and at some point, if people that are buying the game can finish the game, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like there's so many people that played Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 that just they can't finish the game for whatever reason because they get into a situation like Mina got into where they go into a boss, they get killed in one hit, and they're like, I just don't know what to do. Like there seems to be no path out of it.
And that's something in Dark Souls 1 I've given up. I apologize to my streamer. Like, I give up. No,
Yeah, it's just like you have to walk away from it.
I
I'll go
can't
back to
beat
Dark
anything.
Souls 1 eventually. It's a game that requires a ton of effort, and you
Yeah,
got to be ready to put effort into a game, and I'm not there yet.
yeah, yeah. It takes a real investment.
And so, oh, dime bag. Yeah, I have I think I've saved every single boss soul. Like, I haven't used them to level up or anything because I haven't needed to. And I'm like, I'm sure these souls can be used for something because it says in the item description it can be used to obtain a lot of souls or something else. And I'm like,
And you're
well,
like,
how about I
I
just
want
hold
to know
this for
what
this?
that is.
Right? I'm just gonna hold on to it then. If it can
Yeah,
be used for something else,
yeah.
why not?
Yeah, they always make the boss souls used for something
Some cool
craftable in both
weapons or
Demon
something.
Souls and Dark Souls. So
Yeah.
I'm holding on to them. I have a box full of souls. Uh, let's see what else. Um, I've played a lot of other games, but I think I'm going to talk about the alpha that I got into like 3 or 4 days ago because some crazy stuff have happened in this game. So, I got into this alpha, and I am allowed to talk about it. It's called Arcage. Archage. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Uh,
Archage? I don't know.
Archage. Yeah, sure. And it is I guess it's a Korean MMO. So let me start by saying that first, because immediately everybody thinks, "Oh my gosh, Grindfest."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's its
I
own
think that goes hand in
subgenre.
hand, right? So, um, this game is a lot of fun, and if I understand it right, it is a free to play game after you buy the game, of course. But the way the free system works is if you pay for like subscriber, you get some sort of benefit of like being able to purchase a house that you can also obtain if you do something in the free. I don't know. I don't know the full details. I haven't been looking it up. But put that all aside on payment and stuff because I don't care. What I really enjoyed is I'm just gonna tell you about this moment that I had. I've watched this game is really PvP centric. So I'm sitting on this beach, minding my own business. Maybe I'm doing a quest. I don't know, looking around,
Just hanging
doing my
out.
own thing. Yeah. And there's like three guys, just wandering around. They're doing a quest or something. I'm looking over at them, and then I see these guys hang glider in from the skies. Five of them, like they're flagged as people who will PvP my people because the game's about races. There's 4 races, and I guess they all hate each other or something. I don't know. Anyways, these guys hang glider their way into this area, land, and start killing everybody. And I'm like, oh crap, I need to get off this
Gotta go.
beach. So I pull out my rowboat from the ether or wherever it comes from. It goes portals in. I hop on my rowboat. I'm like, I'm gonna row my way out of this situation. I'm rowing out into the sea, and I think I'm a good distance away from land now. So I'm just like rowing carefully. All of a sudden, I hear this, and I see their harpoon hit my rowboat, and they start reeling it in. They got one guy on the
What?
harpoon reeling me in, the other guy on the steering wheel, and they got 3 guys who hang glider onto their ship, and they're about to jump on me. And I'm like, okay, portal the boat away and hang glider my way to safety. I hang glider to the beach, hop on my mount, and I am racing across the plains. They are following after me. They hang glider behind me. They got faster mounts because they're like level 40 or something. And I'm level 20, and poor me. I'm like trying to like hop on cliffs. I switched to my jumping mount, and I'm jumping up the mountainside. And I'm like, okay, switch back to my speed mount. Okay, need to speed down this mountainside, and then a hang glider off this mountain. I mean, these guys chased me for a good 10 minutes. I'm losing my mind because I'm just like, leave me alone.
I don't have anything
I
you need.
I didn't do nothing. So I finally land into a like they run past several guards that try fighting them off, but they just kind of laugh off the guards' attacks. It isn't until I land in this camp where a bunch of level 50s are, and I kind of huddled my way behind one of them, and I'm just using them as like a human meat shield that they back off. But I mean, that was incredible to have that kind of experience. Also, I didn't know that their harpoon ship could harpoon the back of my boat and reel me in like that, because that's my heartbeat was coming out of my chest. I was like, "What? I didn't know you could harpoon me."
God, that is
So
insane.
so that was so crazy what happened. And then even crazier, so another day I'm looking for stuff to steal, and I shouldn't be saying that, but I was. I'm looking for stuff to steal because you can buy property and take care of property in the game and pay protection tax or money, whatever, so people don't destroy your stuff. So I'm looking for illegal farms that are just, somewhere out in the wilderness. I'm flying my glider around, and I see a bunch of boats, like a bunch of cool looking boats, and I'm like, you know what? I want to take a closer look at those boats because I'm in friendly territory. I'm just gonna, move on, and I move a little closer, and I see this is not a friendly boat gathering going on. This is a naval battle. They've got cannons firing. They got people jumping onto the other ship trying to crash it. I mean, there's flames in places, and I'm like, holy smokes! And so I land on the cliffside. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this thing go on. I see people trying to destroy each other's ships, and they're just like, it's an all-out war going on down there. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, I mean, I was having so much fun in this game. I can't even describe what this game is. It's everything in the world is is existing. You can plant and interact with everything in the world, and it's a lot of fun. I'm surprised that it's going to be a free to play game, or at least I think it is. It is in other countries. Um, and even if, like, let's say I decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy a house. I could set it up so that way somebody who's free to play and doesn't own a house can come into my house and use my house and farm and stuff, and they don't have to pay. They could just be a
Interesting.
free to play person, and I can be the one who's paying for the house and everything else. Um, but that house exists. It's not instant. So everybody in the world can see my house, my farm. They can see everything, and it's there. So it's not like you walk into this area and you can only see certain amounts of houses or whatever. No, you see everybody's stuff.
Wow.
Um, what was the last thing that happened? Oh, and the last thing that happened, again, I was looking for something to steal, and I'm just gliding along. I land next to this spot. I see a ton of these plants, and I'm like, oh, I could maybe take some of those. They're out in the open. They look like they're done. I'm checking the timers, and it's like 48 seconds here, 50 seconds left on this one, because some of these plants take like 2 days to grow. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, these things are almost ready. So, but I see two people there picking. So I'm like, oh, that's probably the owner and his friend. So, I'm about to leave, and one of my friends is like, you should check and make sure that that's the owner and a friend. I was like, okay, I'll make sure that it's not like somebody stealing, because if it is, then I guess I should join in. We all go steal this guy's plant farm. So I hover over my mouse and I'm like, yep, that's the owner and that's probably his friend. And then I take a closer look and I'm like, it looks like there was 200 plants here and I see footprints everywhere. Oh, so when you steal stuff, you leave behind footprints that people can report, and then if you get reported, you could be hauled off to this jail jury whenever you die, and they judge you to see if you're guilty or not, and then you get locked away in a jail for X amount of time, depending on how bad your crime is and
Jeez.
how much of a criminal you are on record. So I see tons of footprints, and I decide to walk over and just see what's up, and maybe talk to them. And the guy, one of the guy who's not the owner, says, "Have a good evening." Takes a glider, flies off the cliff edge, and the person who owned the plants just kind of does this dot 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 sigh, and I'm like, "Did he steal all your plants?" The person's like, "Yes." I was like, oh my god, he stole like all your crops, and this person's like, almost all of my crops, yes. I was like,
Wow.
that's that's terrible. He was stealing it right in front of him. I was like, oh wow. I'm like, and then he said, "Have a good evening to you," and he's like, yes,
He was
eat
he
it.
was very kind.
He was. He told that person to have a good evening. That's real nice. Um, So this
So
game
how do you
is
protect yourself against that?
um you either hide your stuff really well, because what I did was before I owned a little farm to protect and pay protection money to not have anybody take my stuff. Um, because that's basically what it is. You're paying, if they call it a tax, I call it protection
It's really
money.
mafia protection money.
Because as long as you pay your tax, nobody can steal from your farm. The moment you don't pay the tax on your farm or whatever, people can go in and take everything, burn your house down, destroy it, take everything apart.
Jeez.
So really the goal is to be a paying member, find a 16-year-old with no time on their hands, and just get him and a huge group of friends to just be like, look, you guys can use my house. We'll just make a garden. This is ours. Protect it.
Yeah.
This is like some EVE Online stuff, man.
Yeah.
It does kind of remind me a little bit of EVE Online, except with like oh, that's another thing. The trade routes. So, like on boats, you can take stuff to go from one route to another in trade routes, and provided that you don't fall prey to either a kraken or some other horrible sea monster that'll destroy your ship and all your cargo, and you'll lose all your money. Then hopefully nobody sees your merchant ship carrying all these goods and wants to destroy you, because they would get all of that stuff for free. Provided that all of that goes well, you get a nice sizable profit for your trade route. Um, Provided you avoid the pirates and everything else out there that wants you sunk.
This game is insane. This sounds like the best MMO anyone's ever made.
It's so much fun to me. I did have a private garden that I hid. I found like some good shrubs, and I was like, you know what, this looks like it could disguise some of my plants. So I grew some trees, because trees are pretty valuable in this game, and I thought it was well hidden. And I even set a little time clock to tell me when to come back, because I was like, I want to be back there on the dot and make sure nobody beats me to like that guy and that his poor plant farm. Um, I got back and somebody had dug up one of my trees, because you can also grief somebody by just digging it up before it's ready if
Oh.
you want, and just make them lose their time and money, and it just grief them. And that's what somebody did to one of my trees. They dug it up and just griefed me. But the other seven were fine, and I chopped those down, much to the chagrin of everybody watching, because they were hoping that somebody would have, you know, been there chopping my trees in front of my eyes. But I was like, no, 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 we don't wish that upon me. But that's the risk you take growing it out in the wild, unprotected, is that somebody will take your stuff or grief you.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm having a lot of fun in that MMO. It's in alpha right now. It's already been out in Korea for a while. It's been in Russia. I think it's either out now or in beta in Russia, but it's alpha here. So um, I imagine it's not like they have to change anything really. They just have to translate and probably, fix a couple of the CG stuff going
Yeah.
on, cutscene. I don't know, a couple things, and it'll be out. So I like it.
Hmm.
And if it's free to play, I haven't really looked up on that details. If it is, I mean, I'll look forward to playing with everybody, because it'll be free. You could just
You just
you can live
install
at
it.
my house. I'll be the one to pay for the house, the TVGP house, and everybody can come and we'll go on pirate parties and take people's ships and stuff.
That sounds
It'll
like a
be
good
fun.
deal.
Sounds like a plan.
So I played a lot of other games, but those are the three I wanted to talk about.
And we already talked about the two games I played, and I'm not sure I could follow that anyway. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back with releases and news stories.
Yay!
Excuse me. Okay.
Sorry, Boston. I didn't mean to take as long as I did.
No, you're okay. I'm actually gonna cross this one out. I'm just gonna cut a couple news stories here. rather talk about some of our releases here instead.
Man, good month for it.
Yeah.
Hey, I think you forgot one though.
For releases?
Transistor.
Oh, is that an RPG?
It's supposed to be like a I thought.
I'm gonna look it up. I was just gonna buy that game. I don't really know much about it. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
action RPG.
There you go.
Wow. Okay, so that comes out on the 20th. All right. What crap?
I think it's actually like a tactics style almost.
Ooh. I like the sound of that.
I could be wrong, but I think it might work on a grid map either way.
What is that coming out for? PC and PS4. Actually, I should look and see if there are any last minute releases here. I already have Dragon Guard 3.
I was playing Arcade P-Flux.
Oh, Mind Zero. I forgot about that. Okay. That looks like that's all we have. Oh my goodness, excuse me. All right, do either of you need to take a break?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, you ready to wrap this thing up?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to skip our email because I don't think we have enough time, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right, let's start in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about RPG releases for May 2014. Atlas released 3 PS2 classics. I think they're all about $10. Don't quote me on that. Persona 4, which if you haven't played it, that's probably the best price you're going to get. Unless you have a Vita, you should play it on there. SMT Raido Kuzuno, the first one, whichever one that is. I don't think that's the Abaddon one. I think it's the other one. That game is super good, and the second one is even better. I know not a lot of people bought that, but the final boss is super crazy. You should play it at the very least for that. And then SMT Nocturne just came out recently as a PS2 classic for $10.
Ooh.
That game is really great, and that game is really hard. So
Yeah, it is. I'm really curious. I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm curious to see if they replace Dante with Raidu.
I think it's just the standard PS2 version, so I think it has Dante in it.
It's Dante.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Okay.
pretty sure somebody sent me a tweet saying like Dante just kicked my butt. I was like, yep, he did.
Man, Atlas is really killing it with these digital releases lately. Hopefully they get to Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2.
Oh, God, those games are so good.
Yeah.
And you can
Yep.
beat, like, both games you can beat in about 20, 25 hours. If you do a bunch of grinding, then it'll take maybe 30, 35.
Yeah.
But they're all very focused games. You don't have to worry about a huge demon library. I feel like it's a good introductory to kind of the PS2 era Shin Megami Tensei battle systems.
Yeah.
And at least the story in the first one's good. And the second one, it goes kind of cuckoo. But as long as you don't mind that it goes insane, then you'll enjoy it. Like, maybe the test would be, have you seen the animes for Akira and Ghost in the Shell? Or really most 90s anime where it made no sense? Like, if you're okay with that, if you like that, then Digital Devil Saga 2 is great. But
Yeah.
yeah, those first 3 that were actually released, those are wonderful too.
Yeah. We also have Soul Sacrifice Delta coming out on the Vita this week. I don't know too much about that other than it's another Soul Sacrifice game. So people seem to like those quite a bit. Borderlands 2 for the Vita comes out this week. The Vita bundle with Borderlands 2 came out last week. Game is getting a surprisingly good amount of positive press. Apparently, it looks really good, not in screenshots, but on the screen, and frame rate's supposedly pretty smooth.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm really worried about that control scheme. I got to be honest with you, but
Apparently, it's pretty customizable. So you can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. The only caveat, and I don't think the developers knew until pretty late in the cycle, is that it's only 2-player multiplayer. It's not 4. So not surprising. There's not a lot of RAM in those things, but if that's the thing that would break it for anyone listening, then probably give that thing a skip. Drakengard 3 comes out on the PS3 on the 20th. Game that I'm very much looking forward to. It's basically the team that made Nier. They are making another game, and it's another crazy dragon game. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Musum reminded me that Transistor is coming out for PC and PS4 on the 20th this month. So Supergiant Games' follow-up to Bastion that just looks really great. Hopefully that turns out pretty well. And then last one, game we talked about earlier was Mind Zero, coming out for the Vita on the 27th. All right, let's move on to news stories here. Huji Yori confirms development of a new Dragon Quest. I got that guy's name backwards. Yuji Horii says they're working on another Dragon Quest game. So that's always cause for celebration. I didn't remember that Dragon Quest X never came out here until I read this article. Boo hiss.
oh, weird. 9 was so good too, and it sold well, didn't it?
9 sold really well, and 8 sold really well, but I think that was the one that was primarily focused on online, right? Yeah, that was their kind
Online
of...
on
Yeah.
like the Wii.
Yeah, it was like their Wii at Dragon Quest MMO. It was really weird. I think
You
when
call it.
Nintendo looked at it, and probably Square Enix, they were like, look, we're not going to spend the time translating this thing. It's not going to work.
See, me and Susie put tons of hours on our DSs into Dragon Quest 9.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
9
I never
is
even beat it,
fantastic.
but like we
What?
played it a ton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got stuck doing all the side quests and dungeons and stuff multiplayer, and I never finished it.
I can't remember. I had to have been near the end because I remember I was in. Is Heaven a level there?
Probably.
Heaven can't
Yes.
be a level.
Yes.
Well, I was there.
Okay. You were close. You were very, very close.
Man, 9 was really good.
I mean, I guess I
should
could
have
go back.
Man.
Um,
Next news story here, we have another announcement. We got a couple announcements here of stuff coming to the U.S. First one is Tales of Xillia 2, coming out August 19th for the PS3. Of course, since it's a Tales game, it's Namco Bandai. They have some... Sorry, Bandai Namco now. They have some super crazy collector's edition for $130. It's got a figure, it's got a pocket watch in it, it has a CD. Cool stuff is it has downloadable content with costumes from Symphonia, Dawn of the New World, Tales of Graces, and Tales of Vesperia. So that... I hope they come out with that separately, because that would be pretty cool. And then they're reminding everyone that your save from Tales of Xillia will import into the second one and give you bonus items. So hopefully those are good. I should finish Tales of Xillia at some point.
I always love save game importing.
Yeah. I haven't really looked into the story of 2 very much because I'm worried about them spoiling parts of 1. So kind of curious to see what a direct sequel to that first one would be. Next story here, another U.S. announcement here. Coming out September 2nd to the Vita is Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, coming out for $40. So kind of nice to see that that's coming out pretty quickly after the first one came out over here, and that actually we're getting another one. I don't know if the first one sold well enough or they were just going to bring out both, but that's a good sign, and I need to finish the first one of that too.
I love Danganronpa, so I welcome that a lot.
Welcome your Monokuma overlords.
Yes.
Oh man. in Square Enix news, this was reported a while ago, but Square Enix was sort of surprised about the warm reception to Bravely Default in the U.S., and they say that they're going to kind of change their focus less on more broad games and try and focus more on core gamers and heavy JRPG fans again. They say that, for example, in the past when we developed console games with a worldwide premise, we lost our focus, and not only did they end up being games that weren't for the Japanese, but they ended up being incomplete titles that weren't even fit for a global audience. Yes, Square. That is correct. You've been making occasionally good games, but nothing on the scope that they did on like even the PS1 and the PS2, where they were just putting out crazy stuff all the time that was, you had to go get it because all of them were great. So I would really like to see them go back to continually making really great stuff.
And all of them except for Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and maybe...
Whoa!
Well, no. All of them are worth like $80 to $100 and up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot of copies of Final Fantasy 7
I was going to fight you here for a second.
I was like, what are you about to say about 8? Hold on.
It's crap. It's all crap.
That's what we're doing today? We're going to fight?
Final Fantasy. Stupid RPGs.
No, but I mean, when you look at... I think you bring up a good point, because when you look at even the PS1 days, you're coming out with Legend of Mana, Vagrant Story, there was Brave Fencer Musashi. I mean, there's these crazy experimental games, most of which were really interesting. But when you read about Square Enix back then, someone could come to the management team and say, like, look, I want to make this crazy game. Can I get some money to do it? And they would just throw $1 million at them. Sure, it's going to be a much different market now, where it's like, I have this crazy game, and it's like, okay, that's like $100 million, so probably not. But it was such a great time to be an RPG fan, because you were getting so many really weird and really unique but still really great games. Like even Saga Frontier 2 was amazing. It was almost, impenetrable from a gameplay standpoint, but they were at least trying something, and I'd kind of like to see them get back to that, even if they're trying stuff on downloadable stuff, because the mobile stuff that they've been coming out with, except for Hitman Go, has been really bad.
I miss PlayStation 1 era Square, so if they can cultivate any of that again, I'll take it.
Yeah, if you can capture lightning in a bottle a second time, that would be great.
And I think Bravely Default shows that Square is still there. So if they can just keep that train going in the right direction. make more things like that, and less like whatever you're doing with Lightning Returns and stuff, please.
Yeah,
there we go.
A new ogre battle.
Yeah, a new ogre battle, please. I think that's a really good.
New ogre battle.
I think that's a really good point, Mina. That I think a lot of people during the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy have been like, well, this isn't the Squaresoft I grew up loving, and it's this different beast altogether, and they just they don't seem to be putting out the games that we as JRPG enthusiasts really enjoy. And then Bravely Default came out, and we were like, yay, it's another great JRPG, woo! So I think you bring up a really good point. That's like they're not gone. They just weren't making the games that we really wanted to play. So it's good that they're listening to us, at the very least with their wallets. Next news story here, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, was announced this past month, coming to PC, PS3, and 360 this fall.
Has it really been this long?
What's that?
Has it really been this long since we did this podcast? Wow.
It's been a little time. I've been pretty busy. Yeah, so 2K Australia is making it for the last gen systems, and basically it's Borderlands 1.5. They're sticking some story in between there. You're going to be on the Hyperion Moon, a couple new weapon types, but it kind of sounds like more Borderlands, and I think kind of piggybacking on what we were just talking about with Square is it's going to be really interesting to see if another studio can capture that same spirit, that kind of that undefinable thing that makes Borderlands really great. See if they can kind of capture that.
I'm just worried because Gearbox has a bad track record with multi-studio work
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
a little bit.
and 2K, because this is the 2K studio that did BioShock 2, right?
I believe so. Which I really
So,
liked. I really liked BioShock 2.
well, and I've never played it, so I don't have an opinion, but I didn't, let's not start a big argument, but I didn't really care for the first BioShock. I love everything I
Sure.
heard about it, story-wise.
We just won't
Did
fight
not
about
like the gameplay.
it. You should play BioShock 2 then. I think you would really enjoy it.
Um, hmm,
A little
maybe.
deeper on the gameplay side.
But what was I going to say? The character classes they announced for it sound like such a bad idea that I think it has to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, like playing as Claptrap? That just sounds like,
Yes.
oh, you found him annoying in 2? Now you get to play as him.
You want to know how he got to that frozen place in two?
Yeah.
Well, play this. You want to play the sheriff that you kill in two? Good, play
Yeah.
her too.
My primary concern here is I'm worried that it's going to be too much Borderlands, because when Borderlands 1 all the DLC was done, they're like, all right, we're done, we're good. And by the time Borderlands 2 was announced, you were like, you know what? Yeah. Yep. Let's get more Borderlands. And then there's so much DLC for Borderlands 2 that just finished this past month. And they've been consistently releasing DLC that I feel like at this point, this pre-sequel is coming out in the fall. So I feel like at this point, I kind of don't I haven't had enough time after it to sort of be like, yeah, let's, like my fiance, I was like, hey, this new Borderlands. She was like, okay. Like we just got done playing the other one.
Yeah.
Isn't that soon? It's like, well, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. This one, I hate to say it, I might actually wait for the reviews on. Unless
Yeah,
just the pre-order stuff comes with something I can't live without, like life-size Claptrap with this $200 pre-order. Fine,
I'll take
sold.
it. Yeah.
I don't care. Is it made out of cardboard? I don't even care.
Yeah, and you sort of have to assume that Gearbox is working to some degree on Borderlands 3 for the current gen consoles. So, because they announced this for PS3 and 360 and PC, so it's sort of
Yeah,
that
that's the
engine
other
already
weird part
works.
about it.
So we're just gonna make more of it, and that's fine. Like I'm not. This is a cash grab. That's not. It clearly it is at some point, but it seems like it's kind of the thing where you're like, more Borderlands on PS4. Oh, not okay. Well, it's
I
on PS3 and 360. Okay, that's interesting.
I think ideally what we can get is a Fallout New Vegas,
Sure, where it's just sort of like someone else took this engine and kind of ran with it. It was already done, so they got to smush a whole bunch of crazy stuff in there without having to worry about
Yeah.
making the engine. And what came out is different, but it's really good.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. I like that. That makes me feel better. Thank you, Musim.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. Hopefully they'll preview a bunch of it at E3 so we can get a feel for it.
Yeah, E3 is like a month away, so that's kind of their chance.
Yeah. I mean,
P-
granted, I'm really hedging my bets on a new Deus Ex to be announced. But,
Yeah. P Flux
or shown.
in
rather.
chat says, more Borderlands? We need a new Fallout game. Yes, please.
Yes.
That would be very nice.
Have you noticed the journalism community turning on Bethesda?
Yeah, just being like, how
Lately,
dare you?
being, where's Fallout 4? Come on.
Yeah.
I've seen multiple people, like Gersman started bringing up a giant bomb, and I've noticed a Polygon person or two bringing it up, and
It's been long enough.
people are antsy.
Yeah. And the last news story we have here is kind of surprising at how much the internet just exploded over this. Nintendo went ahead and announced Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire coming to 3DS in November. And apparently everyone is the most excited about remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, which I was kind of surprised about because I didn't know that these ones were so big.
I'm not surprised actually because that is the one that the internet always claims is the best one. They want Hoenn again. They want to go back to Hoenn. I don't know how many times I've been doing something talking about Pokemon. They'd be like, "When are we gonna get back to Hoenn? Because that was the best Pokemon." I'm like, I don't care.
I don't know
Be
these
happy.
answers.
But but I'm actually not surprised because that is the one that it's kind of like people asking for Final Fantasy VII. You
You
know,
know
they're
what's
just like, when's that remake?
you know what's funny is we on TVGP that we just recorded earlier today. Um, I did it where I said it sounds like Ruby and Sapphire are to Pokemon, where Final Fantasy VII is the Final Fantasy series, where it's sort of like the second generation of fans of the series hold that as their favorite game because it's their first one. Like they never got
Yeah.
into the original Game Boy ones because they were either not old enough or they didn't get into it for whatever reason because the original ones came out on the Game Boy very late. And it seems like it's the sort of the second wave where it's like, yeah, Pokemon, yay! So that makes more sense because I started with Pokemon with Diamond, I think it was. So some of these original ones are people are like, yay, Ruby and Sapphire, and I was like, the which ones? I don't. Where? What did those come out on?
So I'm happy because I mean going back to that one's gonna be all right. That had a bunch of cool things in it. If they're revitalizing everything, I haven't looked into it, but that was the one with the underground secret cave dungeon thing that
Oh,
you
jeez.
own. Had the berry mixing mini game. It had quite a few of everyone's favorite little mini games on top of whatever else was going on in it, and I look forward to seeing if they do bring all those things back, which are the reasons why people want that game. So I really hope they do.
Yeah, they said they're doing a full remake, so it sounds like
All
they're
right
just kind
then.
of porting it over. Techie Man in chat says it'll be the first time I'll be at Hoenn actually, and I think I will
Yay.
too. You know, if it's so universally praised and it's been long enough for me since I played a Pokemon game that I was sort of thinking, similar to Borderlands, where I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I could play another Pokemon game, and then if it's just everyone just loves it so much, I should probably at least give that one a shot.
It, it should be really good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But that's actually all the news stories we have, and I'm unfortunately out of time, so we're gonna leave all of our emails and tweets until next month. If you want to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. And everything else is on the right hand side of the page. Follow Musum at his show, The Carousel Podcast, at thecarouselpodcast.com. If you want to buy his music, it's very reasonably priced and very good. Two varies. You can do so at listentomusum.com or musum.bandcamp.com. And one more thing. Did I forget anything? You're good, right?
Oh, for me? Yeah.
Okay. And then Mina, you can watch her streaming craziness and yell at her about Hoenn at twitch.tv/Minako Rocket, Minako Rocket. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me this week or month.
Don't forget about your own shows.
Oh, my other shows. Go to e1m1.com. All this stuff is there. All right. And we'll see you all next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I think we're done. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching us live. I have to go keep moving, so I gotta go run. Bye, everyone.
Bye.